guy. He still is a humble guy. But I think it's just that, okay, cool, I'm not as invincible as I thought I was. I got to go back to the drawing board, go back to basics and correct them.
Yeah. Well, we're going to bring in a man who's actually been sparring Joe Joyce. Yep. People have been talking about him sparring southpaws. We're going to bring in Tommy Fletcher. Tommy, please join us. Please join us. You want to jump in the middle?
Good to see you, mate. Looking very sharp, mate.
Look at the size of you. Goodness me. Tell me this. Let's talk a little bit about Joe Joyce first.
Yeah.
You have been one of the sparring partners. You were out there in Las Vegas, big southpaw, sparring him. From your perspective, how is he looking, and has he made the right adjustments he needs to win this fight on Saturday?
100%. I think he's looking much better, and I was only there for the first 2 weeks of his training camp, so you know how it goes, Hamza, when you're at the start of your camp.
Yep.
So he's looking very good, mate. Very good, to say the truth. And but what matters is how he performs on Saturday night, doesn't it? So obviously his weight's, I think, going to be a bit heavier, which we'll see today. And he's got to move his head more, and everyone knows that. He'll tell you that himself. But
literally, everyone's saying that as though it's the easiest thing in the world. Everyone's just like, oh, he's just got to move his head.
If it was that easy, like, you know what I mean.
But you know what? I think we've got to give Zhang his credit.
Yes.
I think he's not getting enough credit for the performance he actually did put on, and everyone just saying, oh, it's all Joe not moving his head. I mean, when you're in there taking punches like that from a heavyweight, I think the first thing on your mind is to move your head, but he just couldn't that day.
And you know Joe probably better than both of us in terms of you are an S-Jam stablemate, of course, a Queensbury stablemate. This is the first time he's taken a loss in his career, first bit of adversity. How do you think he's dealing with it mentally?
Well, I think, obviously, I've not lost yet in my career so far, but I can imagine when you've had an unbeaten record, when you get your first loss in that, I think it will really change your mindset and perspective on your training and just on life as a whole, because you want to revenge that loss. And I think, like you said, you've got to give Zhang credit, man. You don't win an Olympic silver medal for nothing. Like,
100%.
come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
You don't. He's not a pushover. And I think when Joe beats him on Saturday, I think he should get the credit that he deserves in that, of course. But I think when Joe beats him Saturday, he's straight back in the mix with these top names again. You know what I mean? So.
A lot of the talk out there is, and we were touching on it before you joined us, Tommy, is that perhaps he started, Joe Joyce anyway, believing in his own hype a little bit. The talk in the build-up was, there were quotes like, everyone has a plan until they punch me in the face and nothing happens, a twist on the Mike Tyson quote. But maybe he bought into it a little bit too much. Do you think that might have been the case?
Listen, it ain't really my place to comment on something like that. I wouldn't really say he brought into the hype and that, but I mean, who knows, man? Only he knows that himself and his close team around him. But the main thing is that he avenges his loss and that. But if he believes his own hype and that, it's not always a bad thing. But I mean, you've got to believe in yourself and be very confident, but you've got to stay grounded and humble. But Joe don't strike me as the sort of person that will get too big for his own boots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't strike me as that sort of person. He's very laid back and humble. But I think he's been training hard. You know, I was staying in his house and that for the training camp, and like, he was full of energy. He was up out of bed and that. You know what I mean? He was up for his training, so he was very up for it, and I think he's very motivated to win this fight on Saturday.
What about Zhilei Zhang? How good is that guy?
After his last performance, to be fair, his performance against, what was it?
Hrgović.
Yeah. I thought he won. I thought he won it pretty comfortably as well.
Did.
But it was one of them ones. It kind of goes under the radar, and his opportunity against Joyce, he just pulled it out the bag, and it just shows what he's capable of. So going back to, if Joe pulls it out the bag tomorrow night, like he said, he'll be straight back in the mix with the big boys.
You must rate Zhang, you know, he's about your size, right? I mean, he weighs quite a bit more than you, but about your size.
A bit, cool.
Big southpaw backhand as well. You must rate him.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You know what? I think looking at him, like, no favouritism or not, but I mean, looking at him as a boxer and that, and he's stature, he's a big man. I just see him there in the medical way.
His fist is the size of my
That's
my
what
whole
I
head.
thought. Yeah, he's
Mate,
got
I've
big
had
hands.
photos. I keep doing the photos.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I don't know how he gets them 10-ounce gloves on. I'm telling you, I don't know how he gets them gloves on at all. You got the hand wraps on and the gloves and that. He's got them in. Cool, I can imagine they're shovels, isn't they? But yeah, no, he's got very big hands. He's a very big man as a whole and that. So it's a big ask, but look, Joe's a big bloke himself. I wouldn't say he's small, is he? So
no,
those two big blokes going at it on Saturday, it's going to be interesting, I'll say that.
But I'll tell you what though, it's not often you see Joe Joyce at a weigh-in going like this, looking up. He's looking up to this guy, right? I mean, has that ever happened to you? Has that ever happened to you yet? You're both big guys for your weight.
First time now, look.
Oh yeah. Mate, I've had it my whole life. I'm like, alright, fellas.
The tallest person I thought was River Wilson Bent for the Commonwealth.
He wasn't bigger than you though, was he?
I think the tallest I thought anyway. But yeah, it was pretty strange. It was a little bit strange as well, and it kind of gives you that whole element of a different angle you have to fight at. But Joe, listen, he's done it before, and he'll do it again.
And you haven't had someone bigger than you yet. I mean, 6'7", right?
I can't say I've ever fought anyone taller than me, no. But I remember as an amateur, a young kid, and that I was still a novice at the time. There at my amateur gym, they used to bring like the university kids over. This was when I was very raw. I think I sparred a 6'9" or maybe even 7 foot guy. He couldn't box at all. But I mean, it was very tall. But other than that, I've never had any run-ins of anyone taller than me, to tell you the truth. No.
So let's talk about the weight. Yep. That was one of the key questions after the first fight. Joe Joyce came in too light. Zhang was 22 pounds heavier than Joe Joyce.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen often. Not only did he have to look up to him, it was just a bigger guy than him. Did he come in too light? Is that the feeling?
I mean, I personally think he did. And you can see him now. He looks a lot more bigger. He looks a lot more stronger. I think he's cut. He might. I don't know. From my assumption, he'll come in similar to where he come in against Joseph Parker. I think it was around 270, 271.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think he performs at his best then. Obviously, as a heavyweight, I don't know how it works weight-wise, but you try to use different formulas depending on your opponent. So hopefully he does come in a lot heavier, and I'm sure it'll help him. And
does he look bigger to you? You've been in camp with him a little bit as well. Bigger, thicker guy.
When I was in Vegas with him, I was sparring him. He was still very big then. I wouldn't say he's small at all. Yeah. And then a couple of weeks ago, Shane calls me, can you come spar Joe? And that's one of your last spars. I turn up at the gym. He looked a lot bigger, punch a lot harder as well. And obviously he was very switched on. But he looks a lot bigger, I think, definitely. And obviously he's a lot stronger now. So.
And what about yourself? You're back in action this Saturday night. I mean, you've been making promises all week about what you're going to do to your opponent. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, listen, I want to win Saturday. That's all that really matters. You know, the method of victory doesn't really matter. But of course, in this boxing business, people don't want to see it go the distance. No. People want to see people get knocked out, like viciously knocked out as well. And then I think
he means that, doesn't he?
I think he does.
Of course, people don't want to come watch point scoring, but I think I carry enough power to knock this guy out on Saturday for sure. But
okay, well, we look forward to that, Tommy Fletcher. We're going to wish you good luck and swap you in for Ismail Salas.
Thank you so
looking forward to this.
Thank you, cheers.
Thank you, Tommy Fletcher, the Norfolk Nightmare. And here comes Mr. Ismail Salas.
Nice to meet you.
Yes,
good to see you, sir.
Yeah, good to see you as well.
How are you?
I'm very good, very good.
How did it all go? How was the camp? This is the first time.
We're finalizing now the training camp. It's already done. Only the last part of the camp, it will be tomorrow fight.
Mm-hmm. But this is the first time that Joe Joyce has ever had to come back from a loss. First time you've trained him after a loss. What's he been like mentally?
Everyone is undefeated. After get lost, we need to, as a trainer, work in mental work. Mm-hmm. And I've been experienced, for example, with Linares. He came with me with 3 losses.
Yeah.
Jordan Ugas with 3 losses. Lara with 1 loss. Robesi Ramirez with 1 loss. And after that, they're coming back. Mm-hmm. Because every trainer have their own style. I don't say it's the best, but I am kind of motivator. Mm-hmm. So I try always to bring the best of them. Mm-hmm. Not push them down, to break them down mentally, just to cheer up all day tough. It's important.
When people are asked about what went wrong for Joe Joyce in the first fight, they say he didn't move his head. In this fight, he needs to move his head. There must be more to it than that, though, Ismail. What do you think? There's more than just that, right?
Yes. Style make a fight. This is the number one thing. So, their night, unfortunately, everybody have a bad night.
Yeah.
It was not the best night of Joe Joyce. Everybody saw Joe Joyce with Parker. Everybody saw Joe Joyce with Dubois. So he been in very good night. Mm-hmm. So then that night was bad for him. The number one, everybody knows Joe Joyce is a slow starter. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows that. Yeah. He's a slow starter. But that night was too slow. Even we always taking care of his warming up previous to the fight, and he was sweating, but mentally he was cold.
Yeah.
So we learning from mistake, and I don't blame Joe Joyce. It's the only mistake. Whole thing did a mistake.
Okay. Mm-hmm. One big mistake. So look, Zhang is very, very confident. He was very, very confident the first time as well. He's been confident throughout. He says he's coming over here to end Joe Joyce's career. What do you say about that, Ismael?
Well, I say thank you. I will end your career too. Be ready, baby. We are 40-year-olds, so better go and take care of your grandchild.
Okay, well look, he's also said that he's going to target his eye. I mean, yesterday when they faced off,
Yeah.
he did kind of point to the eye a little bit. He really means it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
how's he going to keep out of the way?
You
of
know,
that?
man, and he's right, okay?
Yeah.
Because he have to take his chance.
Yeah.
His opportunity every fighter have to take. He was a challenger. He got the title, interim title. Now, more pressure. He have to defend it.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
I was talking to Hamza. He expects Joe Joyce to be heavier. I think everyone expects Joe Joyce to be heavier this time. What sort of weight do you think he'll come in at?
Yeah, he's actually the last fight was very light.
Very light, yeah.
And usually he's heavier. For some reason, maybe the diet was not properly or something. He was really very light.
Mm-hmm.
This time we try to follow up what he's eating. My wife personally give the meal daily to take care. We need you to take care of your food.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to find food and junk food in somewhere else.
Right.
So he's heavier now.
He's heavier. Would some of it be because he's training in Vegas? You
Yes.
train in LA as
LA,
well.
yeah.
Like, does the weight just fall off you easier the more time you spend out
It
there?
does because of the heat. It's literally it's down
Yeah.
to the heat, and plus, I can imagine being the bigger you are, the more you sweat. So, yeah, definitely. As long as they're being on top of the nutrition, like he said, I don't think there'd be any issues.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what about Zhang? You've seen him this week as well. Do you think he'll be heavier? Do you think he'll be lighter? He's got new strength and conditioning. He's doing
He
things.
bring he deserved it.
Yeah.
He won the title, interim title, and he create the proper teamwork. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As
yeah,
every
yeah.
fighter do. And it's good if for us, man. If we come in the best shape of Cheng, we welcome him very well, and we try to give to the public, to the boxing society, so the boxing lover, the best of the fight. Remember, it will be a great fight. And remember one thing, Cheng, you will lose.
All right, thank you so
Yeah,
much,
thank you.
Ismael Salas.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Great to. There we go. Worst handshake ever, guys. Apologies about that. So Ismael Salas, look, he's confident, right?
Yeah.
Of course, he's confident in his guy. Very interesting about the nutrition.
Yeah.
So important, right?
Yeah.
You know that. You have to make 160 pounds. You're
Yeah.
about 7 foot tall.
Yeah,
Important.
massively important, and not only important in terms of actually making the weight, but how you perform during the camp. That's
Yeah.
one of the most important phase. Just to make sure you're full of energy, you got enough in you to make sure you're doing better than yesterday and better than the previous camps.
In terms of the heavyweight division, then, I mean, it's the blue ribbon division. You know?
Yeah.
Middleweight's a blue ribbon division as well
Yeah.
that you're in. But where do you place Zhilei Zhang right now? He is the one that has the win over Joe
Yeah.
Joyce, who was, he had a lot of ratings going into
Yeah.
that fight. Where is Zhang right now?
Do you know what it is? Is it to me? He's a bit in limbo because these champions, Usyk and Joshua and Fury, they're so.
Well,
caught
Joshua's
up-
not a champion, but yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you know what I mean.
The top guys, yeah.
They're so caught up in mentioning each other. Zhang's almost been put aside, and put aside because he's a hard fight, number one, and number two, I think it's more risk than reward with him.
Yeah, I mean, look, but you got to think he has that WBO interim
Yep.
title right now, and that's the thing. When you are a guy who is going to be a tough fight, you get hold of a belt like that. He will be mandatory. He is mandatory
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
but risking against Joe Joyce.
Yeah, that's why you got to give him his credit as well. You got to give him his credit for what he's doing coming over to England again. He must be full of confidence, but I'm hoping Joe can pull it off.
Look, I'll tell you what, just on the Zhang thing, he's a funny guy as well. I mean, some of the stuff, the whole chat get zanged and all of that, all down the camera, Chinese power and
Yeah.
all of that. He's been fun to be around.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's always good when they bring personality as well. It's always good when they bring personality because you'd rather that than someone who's just there quiet and don't have nothing about them. So it almost brings that extra element to sell the fight.
Well, we've got people walking out in front of the
having a bit of
camera,
nightmare,
behind the
aren't
camera. No, we're all good. We're all good. Weigh-in day, right? I mean, for heavyweights, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. But for you, normally when you have to make 160 pounds, can be a bit of a nightmare. How do you find these kind of events?
I've learnt to cherish them. Early on, it was a bit like, oh, let's go there and let me just step on the scales and get out and drink my water and whatnot. But now, as you get more into your career and the more cameras there are on you and the more you have to get out there, you learn to cherish it and you learn to take it all in, do your interviews and do new flexes up on the scales.
Flex it up. Look, to be fair, I have ring announced some of your weigh-ins. I do remember getting a bit annoyed actually because I'd be like giving you the build-up. I turn around, you're already on the scales.
Oh yeah.
You're already there. I was like, can you let me just build it up?
Yeah.
But so yeah, look, it's heating up in here. There's plenty of media here as well.
There is.
It's got that big fight feel, and your feeling is that Joe Joyce will get it done, or you're hoping he can get it done. What's your feeling right now?
I'm hoping he can get it done. He's definitely gonna come out more cagey, more wary. And you never know, it could have just been a bad night at the office, as simple as that, and he'll turn up and he'll get the job done. But Zhang's an elite fighter. We see what he's capable of, and it's just all about who's made the correct changes.
It's the second time in his career, Joe Joyce, that he'll be the underdog.
Yeah.
Now, the first time was against Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
And I think with Daniel Dubois, he's a big, heavy puncher. At that point, unbeaten, putting people to sleep.
Knocking them out,
and they're moving on the floor and all sorts of stuff going on. So, at that point, maybe Joe Joyce had a little bit of fear in him about what Daniel Dubois could hit him with. Do you think he'll have that same respect now for Zhilei Zhang? He's
been there before, hasn't he? He's been there before. He'll have a newfound respect for Zhang for sure. But then again, it's less pressure on his shoulders. It's less. People say it's more, but if you actually break it down and think about it, it's less pressure. He's been there. He's been in the ring with him before. None of it went his way. So the only thing now is for that to not happen again. That's the only bit of pressure he's got in there. Because now he can go there and enjoy himself and see if he can. The changes he made in camp, see if he can bring it in the ring with him.
That's interesting. So you feel like there's less pressure?
I feel like there's less pressure.
Interesting, because I feel like there's more than ever, and I guess more people would think that because he's 38 years old. Because this is, I mean, where does he go if he loses, kind of thing? And look, he's not really thinking about it. But very interesting getting the fighter's psychology into this.
Yeah, it's good because when it comes to all these fighters, I always put myself in their shoes. I say, if that was me, how would I go about things? Obviously, there's probably people out there who disagree. But yeah, if that was me, that's how I'd think about it. I've been in there, but you've got to break it down mentally. I've been in with him before, didn't go my way. I can only make better changes now. I can't make worse changes. And yeah, let's have fun.
We can see Joe Joyce on your screens now with his mother. The promo, of course, played earlier on. Wonderful promo. His mum involved.
Good promo that was.
Yeah, I mean, very good promo. Joe Joyce is a guy who's had stuff thrown at him his whole career. People have been criticising him. He's too old. He's too slow.
From the get-go,
Doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. But you've had a taste of that after your fight with Bradley Skeet for the first time. Probably people saying, he's no good.
He's not the hype.
How do you deal with that?
Like I said, it was when I first had it. It was a bit like, this ain't nice. This is a bit my back's against the wall kind of thing. But then when you go into camp and you're mentally clear and you're away from all of that, it's like, all right, cool, it's good. I've got these people to prove wrong. That's it. I'll work on myself and I'll make it happen. And as long as Joe's adopted that mentality or something similar to that, I'm sure you won't have an issue. Do
you think it could bring out the best in him? This whole scenario,
100%. Because you've got to remember, everyone's saying, most people are predicting, or the people I've spoken to, that more or less the same thing's going to happen. I don't think that's going to be the case. But yeah, like I said, it's all about the changes that have been made. It's all about the changes.
Well, look, this happens, right? People, as you said, a lot of people are just saying Zhang will do the same thing again.
Well, that's what I've been speaking to people over there.
Yeah.
More or less, people are saying the same thing.
But I tell you, we had a fight quite recently. Yeah, it was Chris Eubank Jr. against Liam Smith. Everyone was saying the same thing about him. They were saying there's no way that maybe Eubank was no good in the first place. Turns out he was pretty good.
It all boiled down to a bad day at the office. That's literally all what it boiled down to. A bad day at the office, and in the rematch he made it happen, and he turned up and he got the victory in stunning fashion. That's a good example you use there, to be fair.
Thanks very much.
So yeah, need some of your boxing knowledge, Dev.
Yeah, there you go, dropping the bars. But look, since we just mentioned Chris Eubank Jr.'s name, I know, look, we're here for Joyce versus Zhang, but I know you want a bit of Chris Eubank.
I'd love to have a bit of him, but I feel in reality, I need to get my name a bit more up there, to be fair, for him to even take interest in the fight yet. But I'd say two more fights this time next year. You could potentially see myself and Chris Eubank Jr. in the ring.
Do you think you got the beating of him?
Of course. It takes. If you see how George Groves beat him, it was just behind the jab, and he kept it simple. And I think I got one of the best jabs in the game. So we'll see how he deals with it when it comes.
Okay, well, we're going to bring in a man who is also in action tomorrow. They call him the Cannon, Mr. Ezra Taylor.
How's it going,
Come
man?
on.
You good, yeah?
Come on, how you doing?
Good, I'm good, man. I'm
Yeah?
good.
Ready to go? You can't help but check yourself out.
I didn't know what that was.
Can't help it. You do that.
Like now, technology's crazy nowadays. But yeah, I'm good, man. I'm here. I'm on weight. Yeah, man. I'm ready to just get it cracking tomorrow.
You are getting it cracking. You're getting it cracking with Joel McIntyre. He's a good opponent. It's the step-up opponent. You're raising your eyebrows like you know.
Yeah.
It's a step-up for you. You ready for this sort of step-up in your career?
Yeah, no doubt, man. I don't really see it as a step up to me because I'm ready for it. You know, we work hard in the gym, as Hamza will know, is that we put work in. So these nights like this is like what we need to prove our worth and to just show that, you know, we're ready to mix it soon to be with the best for myself anyway. So yeah, man, it's go time.
Have you seen him around yet? Have you caught eyes with him?
Yeah, man, he's behind.
Yeah?
That's the man in there, right there.
Okay.
See, I already got my
How's he look
senses,
to you?
man.
How's he look to you?
I don't think he can. You can't look in these eyes. Maybe in a second, but he's forced to do that. But yeah, man. Respect to him anyway, man. Again, he's a good opposition, good fighter. But I'm better. So Saturday night, I'm going to prove that as well.
Okay, all right. Ezra Taylor, Hamza Shiraz, thank you very much. We're now going to go over and begin the weigh-in.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the official weigh-in as we get set for a great night of World Championship Boxing to be held tomorrow at the OVO Arena in Wembley, London, England. It is all being brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry, along with their great sponsors, 32 Red and Unibet. Well, a few reminders. Tickets can be purchased through AXS.com and Ticketmaster.co.uk. It will also be televised live on TNT Sports beginning at 7:30 p.m. London time and also in the United States on ESPN+. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to begin the weigh-in process with fighters competing in a scheduled 6-round international welterweight contest. First, we welcome to the scale from Mykolaiv, Poland. He has 10 professional bouts to his credit. Let's welcome to the scale, Łukasz Barabasz.
Well, fight number 11 for the 34-year-old Pole. Never been stopped. It's his second fight in the UK. He took on Jim Smith in Telford just a few months ago, and I'll tell you, he gave Jim Smith all he could handle. He's in shape, Hamza.
Yeah, I was just going to say he's in shape. You can tell he's put the work in.
We will be taking on Sean Noakes tomorrow night. He'll be part of the Queensberry Street.
154 pounds for Łukasz Barabasz. And now we welcome to the scale from Maidstone, Kent, England, undefeated with 5 wins. 3 of his 5 wins come by way of knockout. Let's welcome Sean the Nightmare Noakes.
So here comes Sean Noakes, fight number 6 for the Maidstone cheeky chappy. 28 years old, always comes in shape, always ready to go.
151.7 for Sean Noakes.
Another dramatic knockout like he got
Well, look,
a few fights ago.
When he hits them, they stay hit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of power in the Noakes blood.
The
of course.
brothers, yeah.
Yeah. Sam Noakes, of course, 11-0 with 11 knockouts, was supposed to feature on this show. Unfortunately, his opponent pulled out very late in the day, and they couldn't get a replacement in. But he will be there. He will be cheering on. I can see him there, looking on, cheering on his brother. But fight number 6 for Sean.
Yeah, at this point, it's all about just getting the experience in, getting the rounds in.
Yeah.
Just
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two
cherishing it.
competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international welterweight contest.
6 rounds tomorrow. This will be on the Queensbury stream, live on YouTube tomorrow. Sean Noakes and Lucas.
Our next two combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international cruiserweight contest. First coming to the scale from Bruges, Belgium. He has a professional record consisting of 29 wins, 33 defeats, 4 draws, 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome Eric Boom Boom Nazarian.
Well, here comes Eric Nazarian.
He's even got a nickname.
Boom Boom.
Boom Boom.
It's a good nickname. It's a strong nickname for Eric Nazarian. It is fight number 69 for the Belgian. Calls himself Boom Boom. Took on Roman Fury back in June, actually. He was Roman Fury's debut opponent, and so yeah, look, he's a durable guy, and he's taking on Alois Jr. tomorrow night on TNT Sports. Let's see if Alois can get him out of there.
I mean,
203.7
I think we're all expecting him to.
For Eric Nazarian. Now to the scale from Henge, London, England. His professional record, 4 wins, just 1 defeat. All 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Alois, the Animal Jr.
Here comes Alois Jr., fight number 6 for the South London Cruiserweight. Now 20 years old. He's part of that Ben Davison camp. Trains with Jamie TKV, Fabio Wardley's
got a
in
good
there.
camp going on there.
Good camp.
He's in some serious shape, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's known as
203.1 for Alois Jr.
Was last out in May on the LS Soro Hosea Burton undercard. He stopped his man Borna Gurkic in 3 rounds. I mean, really knocked him out cold. This is a young cruiserweight with hellacious power, Hamza.
Yeah. I see that knockout in it. What was that? Your call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good knock. You can tell he carries a lot of
Once
a
again,
lot of
ladies
power.
and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international cruiserweight contest.
Well, this Eric Nazarian that he is taking on, he's only been stopped 6 times. He's taken plenty of good fighters the distance. Hosea Burton's gone the distance with him, and East Taj. So, whilst, looks sometimes may be deceiving, Hamza.
Yes, they can be, and I think this could possibly be a case of exactly that, Dev.
Could well be. But Alois Jr. always in shape, and of course on the same show.
Our next two combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international cruiserweight contest. First, we welcome to the scale, coming to us from Oviedo, Principado de Asturias, Spain. His professional record, 3 wins, 4 defeats. 2 of his 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome Alberto Tapia.
Well, here comes Alberto Tapia. He will be the opposition for Tommy Fletcher, the other young Queensbury cruiserweight prospect on the card, who's beefing with Alois Jr.
They're building that fight.
197.5
they're building that up very good.
for Alberto Tapia.
It's always nice to see an early rivalry brewing between two
Now we welcome to
solid
the scale
fighters.
from Norfolk, England, undefeated with 5 wins. 4 of his 5 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Tommy, the Norfolk Nightmare Fletcher.
Fight number 6 for the man they call the Norfolk Nightmare. Has to be one of the best nicknames in boxing, Hamza.
It's definitely up there, isn't it?
It's right up there.
Did you give him that nickname, Dave?
I don't think I did, actually. I did give a few out, but I didn't do the Norfolk Nightmare.
199.2 for Tommy Fletcher.
Well, I mean, he looks in shape as well. He's always in shape. He's a 6'7" southpaw cruiserweight, hard-hitting fighter. Not normally top of anyone's list to have a fight with, really, is it?
Yeah, no. How old is he now?
He's 20 years old.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international cruiserweight contest.
To carry the power himself and Alois carry at their ages is a rare, very rare thing.
It's absolutely tremendous. But look, he is towering over Alberto Tapia here. Alberto Tapia listed as 5'11", and Tommy Fletcher is 6'7", a giant cruiserweight. And look, as much as they'll probably say, I'm only focused on my opponent in front of me, they will be trying to make a statement to each other. Tommy Fletcher and Alois.
Yeah, especially being on the same card.
Yeah.
Our next two combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international super featherweight contest. First to the scale, coming to us from Chinandega, Nicaragua. He brings 26 professional bouts to his credit. Let's welcome Angel Gomez.
Well, here comes Angel Gomez. He'll be taking on Royston Barney-Smith. And you look like you recognise him. He has boxed your cousin, Umar Khan.
Oh yeah, he has. That's what I was looking at him thinking so.
I thought you was eyeing him up all along. You was trying to have a fight with him, man.
Yeah. No, he's coming in good shape. Though.
Yeah.
He's coming in good shape.
132 pounds for Angel Gomez.
That's probably the best shape I've seen Angel Gomez in, to be fair.
Now to the scale from Southampton, Hampshire, England. Undefeated with 6 wins. 3 of his 6 wins come by way of knockout. Here is Sugar Boy Roy, Royston Barney-Smith.
Well, here comes Sugar Boy Roy, just 19 years old, former junior European
Class
amateur
fire.
champion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely one of the best up-and-coming talents in the Frank Warren stable.
Always in shape, always ready to go. Calls himself Sugar Boy Roy, and of course, as we mentioned earlier, he's in that Ben Davison camp alongside Alois Jr. It's it's iron sharpening iron. That's what they say, isn't it? Every day. And
once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international super featherweight contest.
Royston Barney-Smith returns to the arena that he made his debut in back in March last year. Fight number 7 for him.
Our next two combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 8-round international light heavyweight contest. First to the scale from Portsmouth, Hampshire. His professional record, 20 wins, 7 defeats, 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Joel El Toro McIntyre.
Well, we've already had a chat with Ezra Taylor. This is the opponent, Joel McIntyre, former 2-time English light heavyweight champion. He comes with a bit of pedigree. Yeah. He'll be the toughest test of Ezra Taylor's career.
178.2.
I think it's the perfect step up for Taylor at this point in his career. So credit to him to taking a fight.
And now to the scale from Nottingham, undefeated with 6 wins. 4 of his 6 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Ezra the Cannon Taylor.
Well, Ezra Taylor is becoming a bit of a fan favourite now. He's got the look, he's got the power, he's got the style, he's got the chat. Let's see what he looks like on the scales.
176 pounds for Ezra Taylor.
I'm looking forward to this face-off, actually. This is Ezra Taylor has been saying exactly what he's going to do all week. Joel McIntyre does not mess about at all.
These two competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 8-round international light heavyweight contest.
Joel McIntyre.
What fight is this for Taylor now?
This is fight number 7 for Ezra Taylor. 29 years old. Interesting face-off technique.
It is, I was just going to say.
What do you think of that?
He's just saying now, so if he pushes him, he don't fall over.
Oh, okay, it's very clever in a way, really, from Joel McIntyre.
Yeah.
Didn't want any beef.
Nah. Might have to try that.
Give that one a go. Interesting face-off there. Very interesting fight. A step up for Ezra Taylor tomorrow night, live on TNT Sports.
Our next two combatants competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round international super middleweight contest. First to the scale, coming to us from Lumilly, France. He brings a record of 10 wins, 12 defeats, 4 draws, 2 wins come by knockout. Let's welcome Khalid Graidia.
Well, Khalid Gradia is becoming a bit of a familiar face to British boxing fans. He has boxed in recent times Ezra Taylor,
Yep.
Karol Itauga,
Yep.
Dan Aziz. I mean, he might as well base himself over here now.
No, it's a good comeback fight for Zach, and it's good to see him back in the ring as well.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But Khalid Gradia always in shape.
Now to the scale from Swadlincote, Coat, Derbyshire, England. He is the former British and WBO International Super Middleweight Champion, now with a professional record of 22 wins, just 1 defeat, 16 of his 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome Zach Parker.
Well, this is the comeback fight for Zach Parker, the first fight since that first career defeat to John Ryder back in November.
No, it was unfortunate how that fight ended. It was unfortunate.
Well, he was forced to withdraw from that fight after 4 rounds, had that horrible hand injury.
Yeah.
A doctor has since told him if he had carried on fighting, it probably would have been the end of his career. So, good decision, really, from Zach Parker.
Yeah. He lived to fight another day.
Yeah. But he's had some hard times. Obviously, that was the first loss of his career. John Ryder went on to fight Canelo Alvarez.
Yep.
So that's an indication as to how close Parker was.
He was, yeah.
But he'll have his work cut out on Saturday, tomorrow night. If he is looking to make a bit of a statement and get Khalid Gradia
How many rounds
out of there,
How many rounds?
10 rounds.
I reckon he'll get him.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round international super middleweight contest.
And it wasn't the best year at all, really, for Zach Parker last year. Took that first defeat of his career, was meant to fight Demetrius Andrade before that. That was the whole thing.
That was a
Pride
build-up,
Park
yeah.
Turned into a bit of a nightmare. But he's very much on the comeback trail now, and Khalid Gradia is the man in his way.
Our next two combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round contest, and it will be for the WBC International Super Lightweight Championship. First, we will welcome to the scale the challenger from Beswick, Lancashire, England. He has a professional record of 16 wins, 2 defeats, 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Sugar Cane Gardner.
Well, here comes the challenger for the WBC International Super Lightweight Championship, Sugar Cane Gardner. Big fan of him calling himself Sugar Cane. That's pretty good, that answer.
It's like I said, it's up there with the names you'd give out there. But no, I'm looking forward to this fight.
Yeah, very, very.
139.3 for Cane Gardner.
Cane Gardner is rough, he's rugged, and he promises to take Pierce O'Leary
And
into
now
deep
we welcome
water.
to the scale the defending champion, coming to us from Dublin, Ireland, undefeated with 12 wins. 7 of his 12 wins come by way of knockout. Here is the reigning and defending WBC International Super Lightweight Champion, Pierce Big Bang O'Leary.
Well, just a reminder, there is more than just one Big Bang on the show. There is Pierce O'Leary, fight number 13 for him.
139.6 for Pierce O'Leary.
Yeah, no, he's one of my favourite fighters on the Frank Warren roster. Pierce is
100%.
always great to watch.
He's great to watch, and he gets knockouts. His last fight that he had in Belfast, home soil, the guy was supposed to give him rounds, and he didn't. He gave him about a minute. So Pierce O'Leary looking very good. This is the step-up fight, though. Cane Gardner has that win over Conor Walker, who just beat Cyrus Patterson, who was touted for big, big things. So by far the biggest step-up so far in the career of Pierce O'Leary.
Yeah, no, it's good though. I think it's about time because he's definitely got the potential to go on and do big things and win world titles. So this is just another step
Once again,
in his way.
These two competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the WBC International Super Lightweight Championship.
Who's got the British super lightweight? Dalton Smith.
Dalton Smith is the British champion. There's Adam Azim, who is challenging for the European. It's a very, very glamorous division. Exactly. And Pierce O'Leary believes that the cream will rise to the top.
100%. Definitely one of the best divisions to be in domestically anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
And worldwide.
Yeah, of course, on world level there's plenty going on as well. But I'll tell you, look, these fellas are really, no one wants to break that face-off.
Serious business, this.
Well, Pierce O'Leary is a serious man, and he's got serious
Might
ambitions.
have to shout out, tell him to stand sideways so don't fall over.
Bit of Joel McIntyre. Showed us how to do it earlier, but nothing really bringing them apart. That WBC International Super Lightweight title on his
Our next
shoulder.
2 combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international heavyweight contest. First to the scale from Ghent, Belgium. He brings a professional record consisting of 7 wins with 8 defeats. Let's welcome to the scale, Amin Busetta.
Well, here comes Amin Busetta, fight number 16 for the 31-year-old Belgian. Actually boxed twice in the country this year. Took on Scott Forrest in Manchester in January on the Eubank Smith card. And boxed Tommy Welsh on the Lawrence Sokoli v Chris Billum Smith card in Bournemouth.
228.3 for Amin Busetta.
There's Amin Busetta.
Now we welcome to the scale from Chatham, Kent, England. He had a stellar amateur career and now as a professional is undefeated with 4 wins. 2 of his 4 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Moses Itauma.
Fight number 5 for the young heavyweight, tipped to go to the very top of the sport. Moses Itauma.
237.9 for Moses Itauma.
237.9 is a career lightest, by the way, in his 5 fights so far for Moses Itauma.
Yeah, no, he's definitely been staying active.
Yeah.
Going about it the right way if he wants to get to the top.
On his debut, he was 248. His second fight, he was 249.5. And it looks like he's really putting in the work in the gym.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these 2 competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international heavyweight contest.
Done everything he could do as an amateur, world amateur
Cleared
champion.
up. Yeah, he cleared up.
And unbeaten as an amateur. It doesn't happen very often at all.
He's unbeaten?
Yeah.
In how many fights?
It was like 20 odd. Didn't have that many, but he won them all. Really testing me today, Hamza. But Moses Itauma is all business here. All business. His first 2 fights went within a minute. His last 2 fights went the distance. We are going to actually bring in Moses Itauma for a chat. Moses Itauma, one of the few people who may even tower over you, Hamza Shiraz.
Might be the hair though, might be his hair.
Might be the hair.
No, actually, he's coming close to unit.
Well, I think we're going to bring in Moses Itauma for a quick chat. This is young heavyweight fight number 5 for him. He's thinking about it. He's over there. Come on, Mr. Moses Itauma. Please come in. Please join us. This mic is for you.
What's happening?
What's happening? Jump in the middle.
How's it going, man?
And look, fight number 5, and
number 5, literally.
Lightest you've been, you know that. That was it's you what 230, 238.
I don't even look on my weight if I'll be honest with you.
Your first fight you were like 247, second fight 249. Is there a reason you were a bit lighter? You training harder? What's going on, Moses?
I guess it's training harder, innit? Like when I'm in camp, the weight just falls off me. Like I'm not really. I wasn't aiming to come light. I guess I just was like.
Well, heavyweights don't really need to look at their weight like Hamza's looking at his weight. But you've come face to face with your man there. He's the guy in your way tomorrow night. What did you make of him?
It's a bit soft around the midsection. So
are you calling him fat?
Yeah, a little bit. Try whip them body shots in, and we'll see what happens, innit?
Well, look, as I mentioned to you yesterday at the press conference, your first couple of fights were over within a minute. The last couple went the distance. Now that you've had a look at this guy, how do you see it going tomorrow?
Round 3 or 4, I reckon.
All right, look, we're going to hold you to that. We're going to hold you to that, Moses. Moses, best of luck to you. Thank you so much. And we will see you tomorrow. Well, that's Moses Itauma. Let's go back to Thomas Triber.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next 2 combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round contest in the light heavyweight division. First, we welcome to the scale from Matosinhos, Portugal. His professional record, 22 wins, 8 defeats, 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome, gentlemen, Jorge Silva.
Well, Jorge Silva is the late replacement who has come in for Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde was, of course, scheduled to fight Ricky Summers. Yeah. Ricky Summers has pulled out. But the good news is Anthony Yarde gets to fight. We will see him tomorrow. Jorge Silva here, 31 years old. Fight number 31. Sorry, 40 years old. Fight number 31. And look, chance of a lifetime for him.
Yeah, definitely chance of a lifetime.
170
not an easy one
for Jorge Silva. Now we welcome to the scale from Ilford, Essex, England. His professional record, 23 wins, 3 defeats. 22 of his 23 wins come by way of knockout. Let's welcome the former 2-time world title challenger, Anthony, the Beast from the East, Yarde.
Well, I'll tell you, tremendous ovation here for Anthony Yarde. And after what he did in January at the arena, the effort he gave, I think he deserves that ovation.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we'll see him back in the mix with the big boys, maybe end of this year, early next year, and I see him winning a title in the light heavyweight division for sure, no doubt about it.
He's still just 32 years old. You got to think like Batovia's 38.
7.9 for Anthony Yarde.
He's coming into his prime now.
Yeah.
His first world title fight he had pretty early on, especially being a light heavyweight. But do you know what I mean? He's coming into his prime now, and like I said, he will definitely do big things like winning world titles in the future.
Well, look, if you think about it, he only had, people mention this, he only had 12 amateur fights, right?
It's crazy when you think about it.
It is crazy.
Tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round contest in the light heavyweight division.
But it'll be great to see Anthony Yarde back. He gave us that thriller back in January against Artur Beterbiev, traded blow for blow with an absolute monster, and it took Tunde Ajayi throwing in the towel for that fight to stop. He'd probably still be in that arena over the road, still trying to punch him now.
That just shows the type of caliber fighter he is.
Yeah.
Skill, heart, it's what it takes to be a champion.
Yeah. Exactly that. And I'll be very curious to see. He's quite close to kind of like championship weight there. He's only a couple of pounds over. He didn't really need to make it, right?
At all, yeah.
Didn't need to do that at all. But I think we're going to grab Anthony Yarde for a chat. And hopefully we'll find out what Anthony Yarde thinks about this fight that he's got tomorrow. Last-minute replacement. Has that happened to you yet so far in your career, where you've got your sights, you're going to fight this guy, and then someone else comes in at last minute? You have to.
It's not actually happened to me.
Right.
It's not happened.
It's boxing,
to me.
right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It happens.
So I can only imagine what it's like at this level. I wouldn't say it's so bad because it's more of him having a comeback fight and getting in there and just getting active again. But I mean, I can only imagine what it's like at title level.
But that Beterbiev fight, let's talk a little bit about that. I mean,
fight that was.
He even says, you know what, it was a really good fight. Like when he watches it back, and it was.
Yeah.
Were you ringside for that? I assume you were.
No, I was actually in America watching it.
What did you think when you was watching it?
It was one of them ones where he gave everything he could have possibly. He left it all in the ring, and that's what boxing's about. That's what it's about. It's that's why it's such a friendly favourite, because. He leaves it all in there. Yeah. And against Kovalev, he done the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same
so
thing.
So just like I said, it just shows where he's at and what he does. He gives it his all for the spectators and for the boxing fans.
It feels like he's more than ever now. He's won the hearts of the British boxing public, of the world boxing public, because that was on the world stage that he's done that now. And I think people have really taken to him because of what you said, because he does just give it everything.
He leaves it in there, and you can't do much more than that. You can't do more than that at all. And like I said, it just shows what he's willing to do to please the public.
Well, let's bring in the beast from the East himself, Mr. Anthony Yarde, looking good. No, you're looking good though. Looking good. What's happening? How are you feeling about this one? You're back. That's the good news. Come on.
That's the main thing. I'm back. I was meant to have Ricky Summons That would have been. Sorry,
just a
teach
bit
my
higher. Yeah. No, I was trying to get your socks.
Yeah, my discombobulated. They caught my socks on. They said, "Come quick." No,
but yeah, meant to be Ricky Summers.
Yeah, he pulled that last minute. So I just want to get back in the ring. I didn't care who I fought today.
Weight-wise, do you know what? Like for a fight like this, a little comeback fight, I thought maybe 280, 285. You're shilling sort of thing. You're quite close to championship weight. What's that about?
You know, it's for me. I just want to. Like, every time, like you will know, every time you go into a fight, we're big for our weight as well.
Yeah.
Every time you go into a fight, you want to get comfortable or get used to getting to the weight.
Yeah.
When you get comfortable going just above, it's that last little bits that
make
damage
the difference.
you,
Yeah.
that made the difference. So even when they told me the weight, I was like, yeah, as close to the championship as possible. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's about me pushing myself, getting to that weight and being comfortable. That's it.
You got a lot of love here.
Come on, man.
You know, this is the same place that you had that fight with Artur Beterbiev back in January. Hamza was just talking about it. It was an amazing fight.
Yeah.
You gave it everything.
100%.
Like how many times you watched it back? And how did you look back on it?
About 5 times I watched it back. Yeah, I watched it back. First time was like shortly after the fight. I was still a bit emotional, but I was like, why did he throw in the towel when I was still there?
So that was really on your mind. You weren't happy at the time.
No,
with
at
that.
the time. So when it just happened, obviously I don't ever react straight away because going through life, you learn that you're in there, it's heat of the moment, you can't see.
Yeah.
And then when I watched it back, I was like, why did he throw it in? Like, well, you know what? I'm like, And then when I watched it back later, again, I kept changing my mind. So I was like, you know what? That's what you got a team for. Frank Warren agreed with it. People that love and care about me agreed with the decision. So I'm a warrior at heart. So I'm like,
you'll fight to the end.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been in the roadside, so we're never going to want the towers to get thrown in.
We're saying if Tunde didn't chuck it in, you'd probably still be over there now trying to knock that guy out.
Exactly, 100%.
So what do you want to do next? Look, this is a welcome back fight for Anthony Yarde, but you want to become a world champion. That's still very much the hunger, the drive to get there again.
Of course, that was the dream from when I even first started boxing. World titles and big fights. So again, there's a couple of fights out there that are big, that are not world title fights as of yet. I'm welcoming all challenges, as I always have. If it makes sense, I'll fight the opponent. But again, this fight is all I'm focused on right now. Getting the job done, and then on to the next.
This is the same arena that you made your debut, just last one before we let you go. Same arena you made your debut in, right? That's 2015, 8 years ago, nearly 9 years ago. How different are you now as a guy? And tell me, how different is the hunger level? Has it got even more? Like, what's this Anthony Yarde like?
Because I've tasted it, you know what, I will say it's around the same.
Yeah.
Because I've always had that. Before I had no money, how I grew up, it was even amazing to turn professional, to be signed and things like that. And now I'm in a certain position, the hunger's still there. I still got the reminders of the position I was in before. And then because I've come so far, and I've come so close, it's that, I need to get there.
It's in touching distance now.
Touching distance. I can see I'm grabbing it. I'm grabbing it. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to grab me up here. What's going
there.
on? Anthony, I'm going to let you put your socks on.
Yes.
Let you sort yourself out.
Thank you.
Great to see you again, and great to have you
Always.
back.
Love. Come
See
on.
you back, man.
Thank you so much. Anthony Yarde, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back to the main event weigh-in.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we are going to weigh in our main event participants. It is a rematch scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for the WBO Interim Heavyweight Championship of the World. We will first welcome to the scale the challenger from Putney, London, England. He was a 2016 Olympic silver medalist, and now is a professional. He has a record consisting of 15 wins, just 1 defeat. 14 of his 15 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former WBO Interim Heavyweight Champion of the World, Joe the Juggernaut Joyce.
Well, I'll tell you, the roof nearly went off here. He's become a real fan favourite as Joe Joyce. This is the comeback. This is it. Coming back from the first defeat of his career. Such an important fight for Joe Joyce. Let's find out. Exactly, he does.
281.2.
Wow.
It's a career heaviest, isn't it?
281 pounds, and that is indeed a career heaviest for Joe Joyce in this fight. The highest we've seen him before is 271.
To the scale, the defending champion, a native of Zhou, China, now fighting out of Bloomfield, New Jersey. He is a two-time Olympian, now consisting a record of 25 wins, just 1 defeat, 1 draw, 20 of his 25 wins come by way of knockout. Here is the reigning and defending WBO interim heavyweight champion of the world, Zhilei Zhang.
He's got quite a little fan club over here.
Wow. 287. Both fighters are heavier than they were for the first fight. So we've got Joe Joyce here, who weighs 281, and Zhilei Zhang weighs 287. 6 pounds between them. Career heaviest for Joe Joyce. I believe it's a career heaviest also for Zhilei
This is
Zhang.
our main event tomorrow night, scheduled for 12 rounds. It will be for the WBO Interim Heavyweight Championship of the World.
I think the weight advantage should play into Joe Joyce's favour, to be fair.
Well, look, in the first fight there was 22 pounds between them in terms of weight. In this fight, there really isn't that much. There's 287 to 282 was Joe Joyce in this, so we're looking at 5 pounds weight difference there.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at game plans via the weight, it looks like Joe Joyce is going to take it to him.
He certainly looks ready to take it to him. Joe Joyce, Zhilei Zhang, WBO Interim Heavyweight Championship. Joe Joyce made a little grab for the belt yesterday. Let's see if he does it again.
That's all business. All business here.
Serious business. But look, this was all the chat. People were saying Joe Joyce has to come in heavier. I wasn't expecting Zhilei Zhang to come in that much heavier as well. So he's still going to be the smaller guy in there.
Yeah.
But let's bring in the juggernaut. Big jugger. Big, heavy jugger. Goodness me, 282 pounds. Is that right? 282?
Guess so. I wasn't really
Big
paying
guy.
attention, to be honest.
But look, everyone was saying in the first fight, he was too light. He needs to come in heavier. You've come in almost like 30 pounds heavier. Is this something you've done on purpose?
Yeah, I've took constructive criticism.
That's a meme, by the way. We're doing that. Come on.
Yeah. I took constructive criticism and come in heavier. Yeah. So because I knew the weight was a little bit light. Last time I started the camp already on weight, so this time I've corrected all the mistakes and been a little more conscious of what I've been eating and and also the way I'm training. Just nitpicking from the last camp and just making small adjustments, all round pretty much. So I'm in a lot better place physically, mentally, and also my focus and drive to win this time is a lot stronger.
Well, you're not the only man who's come in heavier. Zhilei Zhang has also come in heavier than he did the first fight. Now, you've seen him up close. You saw him up close there back in April. How does he shape up to you? How does he look to you?
Yeah, he looks like the same kind of shape, but a bit heavier. I noticed on the scales he's still heavier, but yeah, I think and I can see in his eyes that he wants it, and he's got something to lose now. He's got the belt, so I need to take it back off of him.
I've heard you refer to that as he's got my belt and I need to go and get my belt back.
He's got my belt, so I need to get back. Yeah.
It's on loan.
It's on loan.
How did it look to you up there, that belt? I mean, does it look a little bit weird being on Zhilei Zhang?
Yeah, it's very shiny and nice, and I want it back.
This time, right, I mean, when we go back to April, there were moments in the fight, in the exchanges, you were trying to smother him a bit and he'd just shrug you off. Now that you're up in there in the weight now, do you feel you'll be able to physically impose yourself more than you did back in April?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with all what you said. Yeah, I think I'm coming in heavier, but I'm still keeping the speed and also the more know-how from the camp into this fight. So I believe I'll get victory this time round.
Do you think you can stop him?
Yeah, I reckon I can stop him. Yeah, if you hit him with the right shots.
Well, look, he wants to hit you with shots to your eye. That's what he's been saying.
Yeah, he's
all
making
week.
it very clear. Let's see if he does that or not.
Look, at the face of yesterday, he was like pointing to your eye a little bit. Did he do anything like funny up there?
I was like, ooh, I'm so scared. He's going to go for my eye again.
But look, he is planning on going for your eye, and he's been very confident in the build-up to all of this, even back in April.
He's a shrewd character, and I'm sure he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, and he's like, he's playing little mind games. I think. I don't know.
Do you think he is? Do you think he's trying to get in your head a little bit?
Yeah. What would you think?
I'm not sure it's possible to get into your head, Joe Joyce. I think you're
it's
too.
very thick.
There's no one's going to get in there. But look, Joe. So your final prediction: you believe that you will stop Zhilei Zhang tomorrow night?
Yeah, that's my prediction.
Okay, all right.
But I'm going for the win, however I get that, because this is very important for me, like in the steps ahead for my career. So I need to grab this with both hands, and I have done with the camp and the focus and the drive to get back to where I was for the time for the mandatory to get called.
Okay, and
my shot at the title.
Look, and that's what it's all about. One final thing, right? This whole story that's been emerging. Tyson Fury said, "Come and spar me, come and train with me," and that's the only way that.
Bit too expensive though.
He said underground around. No good.
Did you pay that?
Definitely not. Definitely not. But was it ever a consideration, or did you just sort of take that with a pinch of salt?
Yeah, it was a consideration, but like when I thought about it and listened to how much the figure was, I obviously knew it wasn't being serious, and yeah, and that could be your next fight or a fight down the line. So you don't want to give him too much. It's smarter not to spar him at this stage.
Okay, Joe, it's been a pleasure to speak to you this week. It's good to see you on the scales like that. And Hamza, unless anything you want to ask.
Just best of luck, man.
Yeah,
best of luck
you.
and do what you do best.
Cheers.
There we go. Thank you so much, Big
Thanks,
Juggernaut.
Thank you.
We'll let you go.
Keep it.
Well, you can take it. I ain't going to fight you for it, am I? Goodness me. Joe Joyce there. A big, heavy Joe Joyce. How did he look to you up there?
He seems a lot more concentrated than how he was the last fight. I remember when he was doing interviews, there was a lot more joking about. It was a lot more, a bit everywhere. But now you can see he knows he's got a big job to do tomorrow, and he's on it.
Well, that's it. In the interviews building up to the first fight, because it wasn't like a destination fight, people were like, "Oh, what about Fury? How do you think you get on with him?"
They're overlooking him.
No, exactly.
They're overlooking him.
It's possibly overlooking him. But I tell you, this man here, you can't overlook him. Big Bang Zhilei Zhang, who's going to come in for a chat. Please do. Here comes the Big Bang, and here is Kurt as well.
Yeah.
And Kurt will help us translate. How are you, sir? That's the heaviest weight I believe we've ever seen you. How did you feel up there?
Yeah. 我增重是我平时的体重就是这样，这一期的训练营，然后通过训练，然后体重自然而然的就长那么多。
That's the way I walk around with. It's from training. I didn't intentionally put on extra weight.
Was there any thinking though at all? Because everybody told Joe Joyce, "You are too light. You need to come in heavier." Was there any anticipation from Zhilei Zhang that Joe Joyce will be bigger and heavier, and therefore Zhilei Zhang needs to be a little bit bigger to just be able to deal with that?
很多人觉得乔伊是需要增重的才能打二番战给你，他肯定是增重的。你也是增重的，是因为这个目的吗？
No， 我没有刻意的去增重，而他是刻意的去增重。然后至于增重的效果怎么样，我们到明天的比赛就会这样分享。
He put on weight intentionally. I didn't do that. It's my natural weight. So as far as how it's going to work out, let's find out tomorrow.
And in terms of your camp, your strength and conditioning, all these therapists that you've brought in, you genuinely feel this is the best camp you've ever had and you're ready for this?
你的训练营是不是你这一长期以来最好的一次训练营？
对，这一期的训练营是我这么多年来训练营最好的一次。
For all those years I've been pro, this is the best training camp I've ever had.
And what did you see up there when you looked into the eyes of Joe Joyce? What did you see?
从他眼睛里能看到什么？
我从他眼睛里看到，我感觉看到他的眼睛好像伤还没有好，还在肿着呢。
I saw an old injury that was not healed yet.
Really? You don't think his eye is ready? He says it took about a month for his eye to heal and his eye is okay. You think it's not okay?
他说的1个月就好了。
一个月好了，只是外表好了，里边的内伤还没有好，然后心里的伤还没有好。
It took a month for him to look okay, but deep inside the scars, the tissues, we never know. And mentally, that injury is tough.
How do you think Joe Joyce is going to approach this fight? Do you think he'll be more cautious with you, or will he try and walk you down like he used to do to Joe Parker and other guys in the past?
你觉得他会采用一种谨慎的打法，还是采用一种攻击的打法，主动进攻的打法？
这个我不知道，到台上知道，我就知道他什么打法，我会随着他的变化而变化。
I don't know. What I have to do is be like water to adapt to adjust whatever he brings to the table.
And you have promised us that on Saturday we will see not just Chinese power, but Chinese speed as well. You're ready to show Joe Joyce something different this time?
你上次说了，不仅是 Chinese power， 还有 Chinese speed， 是不是这是你不一样的东西需要展示的？
对，我每次训练，我每次比赛都会让全民看到不同的我。
Yeah, every time I train, I keep that in mind. I have to be something different. I have to do something different.
How is this fight going to go right now? After you've seen Joe Joyce, after you've done the weigh-in, all the talking is done. But what's Zhilei Zhang's final prediction?
见到乔伊斯之后，今天又见到他一次，觉得比赛会以什么样的方式结束？
昨天我已经讲过了，把 T 去掉，变成 KO。
Like I said yesterday, I don't like the letter T in TKO. I'll take it all.
Okay. All right, Big Bang, thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure to be around you this week. Thank you, Kurt, as well. Brilliant. Probably the best translator in the game, and here is one of the best trainers in the game. I'm saying it. Come on. I'm going to give you your flowers, Tunde Ajayi. I'm going to give you your flowers.
Bro, is it me or are you just getting taller as a...
I think I'm
This guy,
on
honestly,
today.
he's definitely getting taller. What are you now? On BoxRec it says like 6'3". That is a lie.
6'4".
That's a lie, Hamza, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
You're going from strength to strength.
Good to see this respect here. Talk to me about your man, Anthony Yarde. He's back. Look, it was supposed to be Ricky Summers. It's ended up not being Ricky Summers. He pulled out quite late in the day. He's got Jorge Silva. It's a completely different proposition. Tell us your thoughts heading into this.
Well, this is boxing, you know, and Hamza, if he doesn't already know, he will know that you need supreme focus to get to a certain level. You know, Anthony has been at the world-class level for a number of years now, and who's in front of us doesn't really matter. The preparation has always got to be stellar, and it's just an opponent. It's just an opponent. Obviously, I mean they threw a few southpaws that we definitely wouldn't have taken, because that's a total change of thinking. But he's an orthodox fighter, a strong fighter. Been a professional since 2005. Only been stopped twice by Lalenga Mock, and that was a long time ago. So, you know, he's a solid, good opponent for Anthony in his comeback fight.
Well, one thing we noticed, me and Hamza were talking about, is actually, look, for a fight like this, a comeback fight, which is what it is, a welcome back fight, he didn't need to be anywhere close to championship weight. He could have been, 280, 285 and all that. He came in quite close to light heavyweight. I guess a testament to his commitment and how much he puts into his gym work, right?
Absolutely. Anthony is a professional. We've always said it. I know everyone sees him and me, and we're always joking on social media about, I mean, any ordinary thinking person would realize that you cannot get to a certain level without deep focus, dedication. And Anthony Yarde has been that from the very beginning of his career, and it just shows, you know, bang on weight. To me, that was like he come on championship weight. So yes, well done to Ant to continue doing what he's always done.
Look, me and Hamza were talking about that fight, that Artur Beterbiev fight, same arena back in January. Hamza, I think you said it's one of the best fights you've seen, right?
Yep. Yeah, no, like I was saying to Dev earlier, it's, it just shows what Anthony's willing to do for himself, for his team, and the public as well.
Yes, sir.
And the public is obviously what makes us who we are. Do you know, it makes us who we are, so it's a massive credit to Anthony, man.
It's funny, you know, Anthony, just to buttress what you're saying, Anthony has always, his main concern is entertaining the fans. That's what he said to me from the day he turned pro. He said, Unks, I just want to entertain the people, give the people the money's worth. It's like when you watch Mike Tyson, who's, you know, and loves Mike Tyson, is that this is what I want. I want people to tune in and know that they're going to
That's why people love him.
That's why people and he got a lot of love today. Look, I'm not going to keep you for too much longer, but I know that when Anthony Yarde has got a fight in front of him, he's not going to talk about anyone else. But you are not just trainer, Tunde, you're a manager, so you can talk about the broader picture. What do you see as the next steps for Anthony Yarde? And let me just throw this out there. A lot of people want to see him in with the winner of Dan Aziz and Joshua Buatsi. Do you think that's in the picture at all?
The picture is Saturday night.
Here he comes.
Jorge Silva. Dev, one thing you know about me, I don't take my eyes off what we're supposed to deal with. We've seen it littered in the history of boxing where people are thinking about that next fight. Let's get Saturday out of the way, and then we see. You know, one thing you know about Anthony Yarde, he's not afraid of a challenge. So good luck to the two London boys, Dan Aziz, who's kind of like family to me. I look at him as kind of like family, and Joshua Buatsi, two great fighters. Putting the friendship aside, and after Ant does the business tomorrow night, I'll be ringside watching that fight.
Let me get your final thoughts on the main event tomorrow night. Joe Joyce, Zhilei Zhang, both have come in heavier than ever, by the way. People were saying Joe Joyce too light the first time. Well, he ain't light this time.
Yes.
What did you make of the weigh-in, and how do you see this fight going?
Well, you know what? I've always been a Joe Joyce fan. I call him Jollof Joe, just because of his Nigerian heritage. So, you know, we can't leave out the heritage. Jollof Joe Joe
Good
Joyce.
alliteration.
That's
as
the
well.
name, and
Yeah,
I'm saying it.
Very good.
Well, being a student of the game, I actually watched the documentary of Mr. Zhang a couple of nights ago, and his story, his team. I heard his advisors say their dad was a famous boxer. Well, more than a famous boxer, probably one of the greatest, famous referee, probably one of the greatest referees of all time in Mills Lane. And I feel, you know, Joe has got his hands full tomorrow. I'm praying that he needs to assert himself from the very opening bell. He obviously, I mean, listen, you can go outside and everyone says, "Oh, he's got to get away from the backhand." Like everyone's saying
that's
that.
the cliche thing to say.
That's the cliche thing to say. But these are not local boxers. These are two Olympians. There has to be game plan. There has to be strategy. And I feel Joe's best chance is to try and avoid the power early on, and let's see if Zhang has worked on his conditioning down the stretch, because that's where I feel Joe will have the most success. But it's going to be very, very dangerous early on, because I know his coach Sean, and they're going for the knockout. They absolutely are going for the knockout. You can see when I looked at the scales, when I looked at both of them as scales, obviously Joe, the obvious weight. But one thing I noticed with Zhang was the muscularity, if that's even a word.
It is now.
The muscularity, the muscular difference in his shoulders. His shoulders.
He's got new S&C people in.
His shoulders were very prominent to me.
Yeah.
And I can see this is gonna be a fight. And so tune in, TNT Sports.
Come on.
Promoted by Frankie Blue Eyes.
Of course.
Frank Warren, the main man. And I'm sure it will be announced by the new Michael Buffer. Dev Sani.
Well, I'll be involved somewhere, but thank you so much, Tunde. Thank you for the jibe at the end as well. Let's get the fist bump. Yes. And Hamza, I'll keep hold of you. Thank you again, Tunde.
Thank you.
I'll keep hold of you just for a final word, just on you, because we haven't spoken about you enough. So, look, I know you've talked about Chris Eubank Jr. There's another fella in your division who also is pulling up a few trees. Denzel Bentley. Was that a fight you're thinking about at all?
Of course it is. The only fight at the minute that actually makes sense in terms of we're with the same promoter, and it's in public demand. I think when we do get it on, I don't know when that will be, but when we do get it on, hopefully pretty soon, it will put the winner of that fight instead to go and fight for a world title. If not, if somehow one of us gets the opportunity beforehand to defend it against each other over here, that'll make it an even bigger fight. But yeah, it's a great fight for British boxing as a whole.
Look, of course, it's a fight that you believe you can win. It's a fight he is adamant that he would win as well. I've got him with me on co-commentary tomorrow. I'm sure we'll talk about it there. Yeah. But tell us why you believe you would beat Denzel Bentley if that fight ever happened.
Yeah, it's just I feel like the trajectory I'm heading in, the way I'm going about my business, the way I'm progressing in the sport, and the way my fights have been going recently, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I don't see why I can't beat Denzel Bentley with ease, and why I can't go on to win world titles.
Well, brilliant. Thank you so much, Hamza. Thank
Cheers,
you for
Dev.
joining me today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Hope you enjoyed yourself. And that's us. Thank you for joining us on this live weigh-in today. I mean, look, both guys, Joe Joyce, Zhilei Zhang, have come in heavier than ever. That was the question on everyone's lips. How heavy is Joe Joyce going to be? Well, now you know. Career heaviest weight. But guess what? Zhilei Zhang's heavier too. We'll find out if it makes any difference at all tomorrow night. Join us live on TNT Sports from 7:30. And of course, we're live in the US on ESPN+. And of course, join us before that on the Queensberry YouTube page, where we stream some of the undercard. Thank you so much for joining us.
These
These are the moments that change the course of people's life.
That was a nightmare for Joe Joyce. He had immeasurably
Shame they have his number.
Effect on his mentality.
Joe started to read his own script.
What should Joe do next?
Got everything wrong.
It's all over! No! Champion power!
I always knew my son was gifted.